How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid. We ended up seeing some volatile markets. We had a strong run up towards the end of the day. We also have to take into consideration of the fact that we did test a low of $20.49. So I know many are saying, do you still see this stock testing below $20 for this week? So we'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $21.98, being up 2% on the day. On the low, it tested $20.49, and then on the high, testing $22.03. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 20.211 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 24.686 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but we still saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below is at 37.41. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 50-day, the 200-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So when we take a look at the price action on the day, it got to a low of $20.49. So this is a level you're going to want to keep your eye on going into tomorrow, because if we break through this level, then Lucid will go under $20. Now, as far as for what you want to see being bullish from this play, it's going to have to hold above the high of the day at $21.98. So let's just call that at $22. $22.03 was the high of the day. So you'd want to see some price action where we can look forward to seeing a move above $22.50. And upon getting above $22.50, you'd want to see if it can get past this resistance level right at $24. If it is able to do this and we have buying volume coming into the stock, this is where we could start seeing a strong reversal reaching up to the 21-day EMA at $25.14. You guys have already heard me talk about how $25 is a key level for Lucid to reclaim. So if it's able to do this, it can get very interesting. But from what I see from the chart going into tomorrow, I can't see Lucid getting above the $25 level. Of course, I could be wrong on that, but we're going to have to wait and see. Let's get into the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent short interest information for Lucid. So for the off-exchange short volume ratio, it is at 60.58%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 5.09 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 6,000, updated 1 minute ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 9.68%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 11th, it was at 65.15, and then for the close of the 14th being at 60.58. So one thing that is clear, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflow it's at 112, and then on the outflow it is at 96.65. So we ended up having an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 27.80. On the medium, it was 48.36. And then on the small, it was 35.93. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 56.15. And then on the small, it was 40.50. Keep in mind, these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for today, March the 5th, 15th, we had an inflow of 27.8 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.23%. So this continues to be a consistent range for Lucid. But one thing that is very clear though, we saw the big money was loading up. And we can notice this because as far as the market as a whole towards the end of the day, it had quite a strong run up. Of course, we have more volatility going into tomorrow. I'll talk about it in the final thoughts. So let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for Lucid in regards to the price action, if you're looking for a bearish move, then you want to see weakness below the low of the day at $20.49, because the moment you see that, it will fall under $20. As far as to a move to the upside now, you need to see some strength above $22.50. The moment it gets above $22.50, then you want to look for that move going to at least $25. If it continues to fail and meet resistance, that's where it continues to look bearish. And since it is trading below all of our major moving averages, Lucid does need that turnaround. It needs a strong reversal. So keep an eye on $25 and as well as $27.50. And as far as for the low, like I said previously, you want to see price action below $20.49. But with that said, in regards to the Fed meeting that's going to be going down for tomorrow, if they end up giving us news that we are expecting, so as far as just an increase of 0.25 basis points, then I could see the market wanting to bounce and jump up even further. I would have no shock about that because that's going to be priced in. If the Fed says, well, you know what, we're actually going to be raising it a lot higher than that, that's where I could see the market pull back as a whole. So you need to ask yourself, do you want to be trading in this kind of environment, especially for the day of, or do you just want to sit back and wait and see what happens? As a long-term investor, I'm going to continue to wait to see Lucid fall below $20. I refuse to buy shares over that price. I know many of you disagree with that, but that is perfectly fine. But that's a strategy I have for myself, and I'm pretty sure you have a game plan that works for you. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. So this is part of the reasons why I gave you those levels to the upside, because if things do turn around and that buying continues like we saw today, Lucid can make that jump. I want to make sure that I'm not being biased on this channel whatsoever. I just want to make sure that you have a strategy, you have a game plan if you're going to be trading off the intraday moves. And if you are a long-term investor, you want to practice patience. You just don't want to go around getting into the habit of buying stocks that are overvalued, because we have to be honest here. As far as for the current valuation where Lucid is trading at, it is just too high. It needs to come back down. And that's why I really want to keep a close eye on this stock when it's below $20. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to play options, whether it's calls or whether it's puts, paying attention to those levels and also seeing how the market is doing as a whole. We know Lucid does trade inside of the tech sector, and most specifically, I would say have a watch list when it comes to EV plays. If you see a lot of big money flowing through that sector, then you know what, there's a good chance Lucid could see a bounce. And if you are going to be holding Lucid or keeping an eye on Lucid, make sure you also do have Tesla on your watch list. And of course, if we do end up having catalysts that come through this stock, we could see some moves to the upside. Not as strong as what we've seen in 2020 and as well as 2021 whenever we get news, because we are in different market conditions. It is very choppy. And let's be honest here, the market is very different due to the fact that we have less retail interest compared to prior years. We could see a change in that, but we're just going to have to wait and see. So let's see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow, and I will make sure to continue to keep you guys updated. We'll talk soon.